I want to share with you three mindset shifts that helped me go from negative $100,000 in my bank account to doing right over $115,000 in net profit in less than 60 days. I actually was struggling so much that one of my business credit cards was acquiring about $700 a month in interest just because I could not pay the full amount off. And then, as you can see here, that same credit card, I was able to have a monthly balance of $50,000 and finally be able to pay it off to the point now where it's $0 completely paid off because I was able to completely change the way I made money online. And you can see here, I deposited $300,000 in just 1 month into my bank account, which now puts me in a position where I never have to worry about money ever again. You see, the problem is that most of us are a product of our environment. If you do not change the people you're around or the media you consume, you'll fall victim to it. And one of the biggest reasons why people fail in life and never dig themselves out that hole is because they don't understand the rules of the universe. So I've been online making money for the last few years. And honestly, I've had a ton of ups and downs. I, at one point in my life, considered myself to be really proficient and good at what I did. But for some reason, I was never able to be consistent with it. And growing up as a kid throughout middle school, high school, and even college, I would consider myself an above average student. I really did not work that hard, but I was able to get by and do really well for myself. So I always knew in the back of my mind, if I really wanted to apply myself to something, I'd be really good at it. But I knew I had a goal and passion for something greater than just having a regular 9 to 5 job. That's why in 2020, I started to make money online. But throughout that journey, I've had so many ups and downs, so many different points in my journey that changed the way I am today. And I want to share with you why I was able to finally get out that big hole and some of the mistakes that I kept making that, if you understand how to avoid those same mistakes, can completely change your life forever. So before we get into that, there are rules to this universe, whether you realize them or not. And the way to understand those rules is by reading these two books here. You can get them off of Amazon or go to a local Barnes and Nobles to read them. But The Kybalion and then Psycho Cybernetics, I actually have those books right here in my hand, as you can see. These are two of some of my favorite books of all time that I've ever read. And I honestly need to go through them and read them again because there's specific information in these books that help you understand the cause and effect of this world. So the Kybalion, to quickly summarize it, explains that the world runs on fixed laws, just like gravity. And whether you understand them or not, they still control the outcomes in your life. It teaches you that thoughts, emotions, and actions all create real results and nothing happens randomly. Once you understand these laws, you stop blaming luck or people and start taking responsibility for how your life turns out, which, by the way, is the reason why most poor people stay poor, is because they never take accountability. The core lesson of the Kybalion is that life is not happening to you. It's responding to how you think and act. So I know this might sound, for some of you, like hippie stuff or like, what is this guy talking about? But I promise you, if you go through and read these books, it will all make sense. One of my favorite principles, because there's rules to the Kybalion. They actually have about 7 different rules of the universe. And one of those rules that I really love is the principle of correspondence, which basically just states that as within, so without, and as above, so below. Your external results are a mirror of your internal habits and standards and thinking. So changing the inside is the fastest way to change the outside. None of this is really resonating with you right away. I know it can sound like, what are you talking about? But I promise you, these are the things that get overlooked in life, right? There's a saying that goes out and says, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So I challenge you, if you're hearing this stuff and it may not be resonating with you as much as you may think, consider what's been happening in your life for the last few months, the last few years, and say to yourself, well, I've been doing it my way for some time now and I'm not where I want to be. Maybe there's some more information out there that I can use to completely change my life. And that's where information like this is important. And to summarize this rule, basically saying, you think, and I'm going to give you guys an example here when I cover the 3 things that I did, but you think that, once you're at a certain stage in your life, you'll start acting that way. Once I start making $20K a month, I'll start saving my money properly. I'll start doing certain things differently. But the reality is you have to be that type of person already before you actually make that money. More on that later, but this is just one of the 7 rules that you'll learn about in the Kybalion. Psycho Cybernetics is more about who you are as a person. So the book talks about and explains that your results in life are a direct reflection of how you see yourself. The book shows you that your mind works like a system that moves you towards that, or towards what you believe you deserve and what you believe is possible. So if you see yourself as confident, capable, and disciplined, your actions naturally flow without forcing it. The core lesson in psycho-cybernetics is that if you want better results, you have to upgrade the way you see yourself first. So unfortunately, through a lot of failures and ups and downs, even in that moment in time where I was struggling and I was losing a ton of money every single day, I knew it was very important, because I read this book. I knew it was very important to still have a lot of faith and belief in myself, despite the amount of mistakes and failures that I was going through. And unfortunately, a lot of people that are struggling right now, the mistakes that they make every single day, it chips at them. It chips at them, it chips at them, and it makes them lose confidence in themselves, makes them lose confidence in their ability to accomplish great things. And it's very, very important that you don't ever lose sight of who you are as a person and what you're capable of doing, which is pretty much anything if you put your mind to it. So the mind works as a goal-seeking mechanism. When you clearly define a goal and emotionally accept that it is possible, your subconscious automatically guides your behavior towards it without constant force or struggle. So it goes without saying, I think it kind of makes sense here, right? The people that have a lot of belief in themselves, they are confident in themselves, even when they're failing over and over again, are going to generally be the people that find success eventually, because they have that unwavering confidence. And the people that struggle and are financially, in a poor position is because they are afraid to take risk. They're afraid to have that confidence in themselves. They're afraid to put themselves out there. And that's why they stay poor. So reading these two books will help you understand the laws of the universe and the laws of how human minds work. And this was pretty much make you unstoppable. There's so many other great books out there, but I believe these two are some of the most important books for learning how you can be, change your mind completely and put yourself in a position where you can start making a ton of money. Now, with that being said, let's get into the 3 tangible things that I did that completely changed my life and allowed me to go from broke to, making a ton of money really quickly in less than a year. So first thing is journaling. Journaling was one of those things for me that initially I did not want to do, because it felt to me like, why would I have a diary? I'm a guy, I'm a man. Why would I be writing my emotions and feelings in a book? But it got to a point where I was so desperate and I was struggling and I was really not making a ton of money, and I needed to make a change. If I did not make a change, my life would have been ruined. I would not be where I am today. So it got to a point where I considered any and everything. And I was just listening to some podcasts about people that were making $100 million a year through their different businesses. And they always talked about journaling and affirmation. So I was at a point where I was at my wit's end. And I was like, screw this. I got to do something different. So I'm going to start journaling, right? It's an easy thing to do, and it doesn't require a lot, but it can be one of those things that completely changes your mindset. So writing things down forced me to slow down, think objectively, and separate emotion from logic when making decisions. So this is one of the most important things about journaling, right? It's not just about writing your feelings down, but it allows you to reflect in real time about what you're thinking and how you can make logical decisions to move forward. So what I would do is I would Google positive affirmations that I can use, plus do like a daily checklist of things that I want to get 1% better at. Now, I want you guys to read this journal prompt along with me. And it's actually so great because as I was preparing to make this video, I was going through my journal prompt, and today is January 29th, 2026. So I had this prompt here in journal here from a year ago, and to be able to reflect and look back at what I wrote down and knowing that I actually accomplished all these things here that I was affirming and writing down as affirmations is insane. So look at this, right? On January 2nd, 2025, I wrote down things that pretty much what I want to accomplish, but I wrote it down in the present tense as if I already accomplished those things. So I'm grateful for the amazing life that I'm living. I'm grateful for the amazing family and friends that I have. I'm grateful for my health and that of my family and friends. So it's always important for me when I'm writing down and journaling to just start it off by saying what I'm thankful for. I don't know about you guys, but I am a religious person. I do believe in Jesus Christ, and I do know how important it is to just be thankful and grateful no matter what position you are. I was down $100,000 in my bank account, and I was still grateful and happy because at the end of the day, when you have health and you have the ability to try again every day, that is a blessing that a lot of people won't have or just lost. As I was talking in this video, as you're watching this video, a ton of people just lost their lives, but you're able to still watch this video and still have a chance to fight for tomorrow. So that's something to always be mindful of, always be grateful. And then as I started to write more, you can see something very interesting. I'm grateful that I make 30 to 50K a month in personal income. I was not making 30 to 50K a month at this time, but I was writing it as if I was, because I needed to affirm that belief. I needed to act and think and subconsciously train my brain to be the person that already believed he was already accomplishing these things. I'm grateful that I have a stable business that I can rely on for long term. Didn't have that at the time. I'm grateful that I live in a luxury apartment with my girlfriend. Didn't have that at the time. I'm thankful that I have a strong personal brand and people look up to me. Did not have that at the time. I'm thankful people respect and value my thoughts. I'm thankful I have a power and authority in my industry. I'm grateful that I'm finally debt free and can live in a financial abundance. I was the farthest thing away from this, by the way. I'm thankful that I'm in the best shape of my life and I'm healthy. I'm thankful I'm able to bring light and happiness to everything around me. I'm worthy. I will achieve everything I set my mind to. All this stuff I was not accomplishing at the time. It was the opposite, actually. But now I can proudly say today, I've accomplished all these things. I am debt free. I have a stable business. I make more than 30 to 50K a month in personal income, right? I have an amazing apartment, waterfront view, and I can see the ocean every day I wake up, right? I have an amazing boardwalk that I can go downstairs and walk on every single day. I have an amazing personal brand. You guys love my videos. You like it. You subscribe, right? You subscribe, right? Make sure you subscribe. I have authority and impact. I can share knowledge and help change people's lives. None of these things I had at the time of writing this journal. By the way, the journal is still here. I still have the journal and I write in it almost every single day. And it's right here, like this exact prompting and everything I was writing down. It's so crazy to me that I was able to accomplish that, right? Like this is it right here. Not sure you guys can see, but it's the same journal that I've been writing it. So it's so important. And on that journal, you can see here, it says, never give up. So journaling is important because I would also write more information in my journal. I actually have two journals. I have multiple journals now. I have this journal I just showed you. I have this one. This is more of a notepad. I have this other journal here. And I never was the type of person to write or journal like I mentioned, but now that's all, I make sure every single day I do something where I'm putting my thoughts on paper and getting my ideas out and also reflecting. Now, you can do what I'm doing here, writing your affirmations, writing down the things that you're grateful for, writing down the person you want to become, but speaking as if you already are accomplishing those things. And I think that is the most powerful way to just start changing your life. Now, it can seem stupid. It can seem like, man, this is not going to, how is this going to change my life? Here's the reality of the situation. If you believe that this won't work for you, it won't. Like, that's the reality of the situation. That is to the point here, principle of correspondence, right? Your external results are a mirror of your internal habits, standards, and thinking. So changing the inside is the fastest way to change the outside. If you don't change and work on your internal and your mindset and your beliefs and how you view yourself and what you're capable of, you're never going to change your life. You're never going to be able to change your life. So it starts there, and it's simple, but man, it doesn't make a difference. And you start doing this consistently over time. I didn't write this down on day one and then by a week later I was making a ton of money. No, it's something that you have to chip away at day by day, month by month, and in this case, year after year, right? This is something I still do to this day. So it's important that you have conviction in this, and this isn't just something that you're going to do to try to, man, maybe if I trick myself into this, I'll start making money. No, obviously you have to apply what your all this stuff that I wrote down. I didn't just write it down. I had to still show up every single day, work hard every day, refine my skills, get better at what I do to be able to make the money. But this is just a great starting point to help keep your emotions and your mindset intact. All right. Next up is that instead of making monthly goals, make input goals. So this is very, very, very important, right? Input goals basically go as such. I learned this years ago from a mindset. So I used to teach information online. I used to be a coach helping other coaches grow their business using Instagram ads. I completely quit that business over a year ago now. I've been doing drop shipping for the last year. That's the way I've been able to completely change my life financially. But with that being said, I have learned a lot from the different people I've worked with over the years of business. One of them was a mindset coach, really nice guy. And one of the things he taught me was that whenever you're going through a tough time with procrastination, one of the things you can focus on, and an exercise that you can use, is take 2 jars and a handful of marbles. And every time you wake up and you're getting ready to do work or do a task, take 1 marble from the jar and put it into the other jar. And every time you complete a task, move the marbles from one jar to the next, because you're actually going to trick your brain into providing dopamine every time you complete a task. It's the same thing like when you create a massive checklist of things that you need to do, a to-do list, and every time you do something, you mark it off. You actually get dopamine from doing that. So in the same breath, rather than saying, hey, I'm going to make 50K this month, this is what I used to do all the time. I'm going to make 50K this month. I don't make that 50K for whatever reason. And then guess what that does to my brain? It tricks my brain into thinking you're not capable of doing it. You set this goal, you worked really hard, and you didn't accomplish it. So, it hurts my ego. It hurts my mindset because I set a hard goal that I wanted to accomplish and I didn't accomplish it. So now I'm going to be more reluctant to set goals. I'm going to be more afraid because, I set that goal last month and I fell short. So this month, if I do that again, I feel like I'm going to, be short again. So rather than doing those monthly income goals, set input goals. Right? The mistake a lot of people make is saying, I want to make 10K, but they don't know the steps required to get there. Focus more on the inputs required to get to your goals rather than the goal itself. Right? They always say it's not about the destination, it's the journey to get there. So the same thing with the marble technique. You want to accomplish a ton of things. Don't look at it like, man, I got to do all these different things to make a ton of money online. Focus on what can I do day by day to get closer to that goal. On top of that, right, the mistake a lot of people make is that they think once they get to 10K a month, they'll start acting like the person capable of handling that. It's actually the other way around. Do the actions and act like the person already capable of making 10K a month. So back to my, affirmations and journals here, I was saying these things, but I also took action. I wasn't just saying, hey, I'm making 30 to 50K a month. Ha ha ha. No, I actually took action to be the person that was capable of that. So I sat down and thought to myself, if I was making 30 to 50K a month, what would I be doing? Right? So from there, I completely changed my schedule around and how I did work. So I started to go to bed early. I woke up early without scrolling on my phone, right? You don't understand how much time you waste every single day. First thing you wake up, you go over to your phone, you start scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Same thing when you're getting ready to go to bed. Instead of just going to bed, getting good quality sleep, you're exposing yourself to blue light, scrolling on your phone, laying on your bed, scrolling through your phone, and making it harder for you to get good quality sleep because you don't want blue light an hour or two right before bed. It messes up your circadian rhythm, so it makes it harder for you to get good quality sleep. So even if you do fall asleep, you'll wake up the next day a little groggy and you won't have as much energy. So I completely stopped doing that because I make 30 to 50K a month in my mind, right? So what would I actually be doing? I probably wouldn't be doom scrolling every morning and every night. I didn't waste time messing around, partying, drinking, or anything that would distract me. I didn't really go out on the weekends with my friends like that. And it's not to say that you can't do those things, because throughout my journey, I still had fun. I still went out. I still traveled even, but I definitely did not do it as often as I might have wanted to do, because I understood that I needed to sit down and focus on sharpening my skills, right? I wanted to become a successful dropshipper, so I had to sharpen and refine my skills. So that's what I focused on doing. I had to sacrifice a lot of time with family and friends because I was so locked in on my goal. And some people call me crazy, right? Some people thought it was stupid to try to start a brand new e-com business. And according to them, dropshipping died back in 2022. So why are you even starting this, right? So remember what I mentioned earlier, right? We're a product of our environment. You have to be careful around, with the media you consume. You might have parents, family members, or friends that you share your goals and aspirations with them, and they look at you crazy. They're like, why would you even want to do that? That's a waste of time. That's too risky. What if it doesn't work out? And they're projecting all the negative potential with that opportunity that you want to pursue. But they never, you notice how people never ever say, what if it does work out? What if you do make a ton of money? What if it goes the way you want it to go and you start changing your life? It's always negative. And that's because they're projecting their limiting beliefs and their fears onto you. So you have to be careful with who you surround yourself with. You never, never, ever want to be around people, especially people that of authority, that discourage you from your goals, that tell you can't do your goals, that put a little bit of doubt or fear into you trying to pursue your goals. Obviously, it helps to have someone that can tell you, hey, be mindful that as you pursue this journey, there will come risk that you may need to pay attention to. That's fine. But if they're telling you outright, like, yo, that's a little too risky, you probably shouldn't do that. Be careful, man, because that's dangerous to be around people that put fear or doubt in your mind as you're pursuing your goals, especially if your goals are difficult, which I'm assuming they are if you're watching this video. And then most importantly, I stopped caring about the money and focused on the daily inputs required to get there. So I started to put my focus on how consistent I can be rather than how long it will take for me to make money. For example, if you take a look at this YouTube channel, obviously the goal is to grow this channel as much as possible, but I don't actually have a hardcore number in my mind that I'm shooting for. My main focus is every single week, how can I get 2 good videos out every single week? I don't care I don't even check my analytics. I don't see the click-through rate. I don't really see how many subscribers I'm growing by. I am so caught up and focused on just being consistent. How many weeks, how many months in a row can I go with posting 2 videos a week? And so far at the time of this video, I don't know. I started doing this September of 2025, September, October, November, December, January. I think 5 months straight of posting 2 videos a week. I'm going to try to go a year. That's the goal. A year straight of posting 2 YouTube videos a week, minimum of 2 YouTube videos a week. And then we'll see a year from now, we'll see where I'm at, right? Like I'm less focused on the outcome than the actual inputs required. The inputs required is what I care more about. How can I improve those inputs every single week? So like right now, my birthday's coming up pretty soon, so I'm getting ready to, take a weekend off with my girlfriend. So guess what? Instead of making an excuse and saying, oh, well, maybe I'll use this week to not post any YouTube videos, I'm batch recording YouTube videos now, so that way I can guarantee that I get my 2 YouTube videos out for the next week, and that way I won't have any excuses, even though it's my birthday, even though I'll be traveling, even though I could probably take a break off and I'll be fine. No, I'm not going to make that excuse, and I'm going to stay as consistent as possible because the input required to get to where I want to get to requires that I stay consistent. So that is very important. And then last but not least, man, this is important. If you don't pay attention to anything else in this video, this is the one thing I would really, really want you to pay attention to. Obviously, it's 22 minutes in, so you've been watching and hopefully you've been enjoying. But please, I'm begging you, please pay close attention to this and apply this and really focus on this last part here. Establishing my deep passion. Man, I can go on forever about this. I want to keep this relatively to the point, so I won't ramble too much. But to be successful in anything, especially online business, you need to understand this, right? Most days will suck. Most days you won't make money, and if you're a dropshipper like me, you actually lose money most days. You'll have a fire to put out pretty much every single day because something always is going wrong. Most days you'll be lost, confused, frustrated, upset, disappointed, embarrassed, right? You're trying this business opportunity, maybe told a couple friends, and they're asking you, oh, what's going on? How's the journey been going so far? And you have nothing to show for it. You might even be jealous because you're on social media seeing all these people younger than you, older than you, whatever the age may be, maybe in the same local region as you, changing their lives, making a ton of money. And you're like, why can't it be me? When is it going to finally be my turn? I've been working hard. I've been showing up every day. I've been consistent. I've been doing research and trying to improve my skills. I've been trying. Why am I not able to get the same results as these guys? I'm seeing people on social media. They're barely working as hard. They're just posting all their wins, traveling, enjoying their life, and they look like idiots. I probably know more than these guys. Why are they making more money than me? Most days will feel draining, exhausting. You'll want to quit over and over and over again. There'll be days that you wake up and you're like, man, is this even the right thing to do? Should I even really be doing this? I might just stop. Maybe I should pause and just stop doing this. Maybe I should, I heard this crypto thing. I see a lot of people doing well in this crypto stuff. Maybe I should look over there in crypto. Maybe drop shipping or stock trading or real estate isn't for me. Maybe it's this other thing. But the only way you can push through that is if you have a passion and a desire greater than yourself. You have to understand nothing significant, nothing worthwhile in this world, nothing that can change your life and the generations after you is going to come easy. Anybody that has gotten easy money, I can tell you it's fleeting, and they'll make their easy money now, but later down the line, they'll not be here in to be able to show for their success because they just made quick, easy money. Nothing quick and easy is good. Trust me, I was a TikTok shop affiliate before getting into dropshipping. I made a ton of money really quick and easy early on. And then from that point on, after it started to become more competitive, after TikTok started changing the rules, it became really, really hard. And it forced me to have to change and pivot to dropshipping, something long-term and sustainable. And you don't have to, this video is not about dropshipping necessarily. Do whatever you want to do, but the rules are applicable no matter what you pursue in this world. Nothing good comes easy and comes quick. And it's all relative, right? Like I was able to change my life within a year, but I spent years prior to that still struggling, still going through ups and downs. So I'm sharing with you, yes, the title of this video, or you'll see me, start off the video talking about how I went from negative whatever to, making a ton of money in less than a year. But it was years in the making to get to where I am today. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of skills, a lot of what I'm teaching you now and kind of condensing for you now took me years to learn and be able to apply the knowledge that I have now. So you have to have a deep passion. Why do you have to have this deep passion, Alex? Because you need something to push you through the hardest of hardest days, something that gets you waking up and still pushing even on days you don't want to. Something so great, something beyond the materialistic things, right? Like a new watch, cars, fancy clothes, right? These are all things that you buy them, you enjoy them for a week, and then you stop caring about it afterwards. It's fleeting. You need something so passionate, something that you want to make money because you want this goal that is so important to you that it will push you up on the days that you don't want to get up. It will allow you to strive and work hard even when you don't have 100% that day. So for me, I had to establish these deep passions because I was struggling. It was difficult. I was failing over and over and over again. And I was getting to a point where I was really struggling. I had $2,000 a month in apartment rent. I had a $574 a month car payment. I had hundreds of thousands of dollars in failed investments and income that I just basically wasted. $50,000 business credit card balance that I could not pay off. I was acquiring monthly interest on top of that. It cost me money to be broke at one point. And I was doing everything that I thought I needed to do. I was waking up early. I was making sure I was watching the right videos, applying the right tutorials. I was trying everything and I still was failing over and over and over again. But what made me continue to go and not stop regardless of all the times I could have failed? Well, here are my 3 deep passions that made me wake up every day and push hard every day, regardless of what position I was in. 1, I want to build a family and raise my own family. All right. I grew up in a bigger family. I'm one of 5 siblings, but I have aunts, uncles that I'm very close with. I've grown up in a big family my entire life, and family means a lot to me. You learn as you get older. I'm 25 now. I'm going to be 26 in a couple of days. And I realize how important it is that there's very few people that actually have your best interests at heart. And more importantly than not, you'll realize that family will always be there for you, right? If you have a good family. I know not everyone has a great family. I have a good family. So I want to be able to foster that and build on the family and the gift that I was given, which was having a good family. So I want to build my own family and steward and raise my own family and not have a stupid 9-to-5 job stopping me from enjoying the great opportunities and memories that I can experience with my own family, my own kids that I eventually want to have. Right? This is something bigger than a nice car or some nice designer clothes, a nice watch. Not to say that you can't want those things and strive to those things, but this should be at the forefront of your brain every single day. You should actually get frustrated every day that you don't get 1% closer to these goals. That's how much conviction and passion and desire you need if you want to change your life forever and accomplish these things. Next up, I want to be able to give back to as many young and hungry entrepreneurs and help them change their lives. I want to be among the forefathers of online business, helping to pioneer and shape a generation of marketers and business owners. So obviously, my preferred mechanism to change my life financially has been dropshipping. And of course, I have an online course. I sell a course. Yes, I'm a course seller. But that's all I do, right? I don't have a high-ticket coaching program. I don't have an agency or anything like that. I have a simple monthly subscription that you can join and cancel at any time. Now, the reason why I only have that and not something else is because I want to provide an affordable way to teach people how to change their lives with the same mechanism I use, which is dropshipping. And I make good money with my course. It goes without saying, but I've make way more money as a dropshipper. And I will never stop dropshipping. I will never stop ecom. I'm actually getting ready to launch my own ecom brand, a supplement brand that I've formulated and created myself. So ecom is my actual true passion. I love this every single day, and I make way more money doing that. But not everything is always about the money. I have that online course in the community called Social Brands Club, and I get so excited every single day seeing the community wins, seeing people share their wins, change their lives, seeing the people that DM me and say, Alex, you know, there's so much value in here and you completely changed my life. Thank you so much, man. I was struggling so much and you're so authentic. You're so real. You share so much great value for what you provide. That puts a smile on my face. And even if you never join my community or ever work with me, that's fine. I just want to know that even if you watch my free YouTube videos, you're able to learn and change your life. That matters to me more than anything. I don't care how much money you hand over to me. I genuinely have a passion for giving back and helping others. It's just something that gravitates to me. Not everyone has it, but for me, I have so much fulfillment helping other people. And I know, in today's day and world, people put on this fake facade to make it seem like they actually care about others, and they never really do. I get that, but I genuinely love what I do. I love making these YouTube videos. That's why I don't really edit them or make them fancy or do anything crazy with them, because I just want to be raw, authentic, and true, and just provide as much value as possible and hope that I can just help change people. I like hearing and thinking about the forefathers of copywriting or marketing or trading or the business, that the forefathers of business. I love hearing about the people that helped shape the generation. Even one of my favorite things is basketball. I love the NBA. I love hearing about the Mount Rushmores of basketball players, right? Whoever your Mount Rushmore may be. I love hearing about and knowing that there's a group of people that help change the way people do things. And I want to be amongst that. And I want to strive for that. That's not something money can necessarily buy. That's just going to come down to years of hard work and commitment. So that's another thing for me. I mean, you did see it in my journal that I wrote over a year ago, right? I really love the idea of knowing I have power and authority in my industry. I'm grateful that finally debt free, but I'm also grateful that people respect and value my thoughts, right? I really truly value that. And it means a lot to me for everyone that shares with me how much they've learned and how much I've impacted their lives. And then last but not least, I want to maximize the opportunity given to me by my immigrant parents. So I'm Jamaican, born and raised, actually lived there for 2 years in Kingston, Jamaica, and then moved to New York, lived there from the age of 2 to 6, and then spent most of my life in Connecticut. I only recently moved to Florida about a year and a half ago. So my parents were Jamaican immigrants that sacrificed a lot to give me a great opportunity to be able to live a better life. And I want to pass that down my bloodline. So it's my responsibility to ensure my family and my future generations have an unfair advantage in life because of the wealth I created while I was young. You got to realize life is not fair. I think we all have gotten to that point now where we understand life is not fair, and people that have more money and resources just generally have a better life. Money does not buy happiness, but it's a tool that helps steward happiness, in my honest opinion. So I want to provide an unfair advantage. I want my kids and my kids' kids to eventually grow up and be able to go through life a lot smoother and easier than what my parents had to go through. And they worked really hard to allow me and my siblings to not have to struggle growing up. I never missed a meal. I never really grew up in a dangerous part of town. So I'm very blessed for that. And I feel like I owe it to them while they're still on this earth. And even after they pass, to be able to know that they didn't waste their life trying to sacrifice theirs to provide for me and my siblings. So it is so important to me, and it's something that weighs on me every day. And it's a good thing, right? I don't feel like unnecessary pressure or anything like that. My parents are very proud of what I do. They know what I do, and they love me very much. But I feel like I owe it to them to ensure that I don't waste this opportunity by just being lazy and not fully maximizing it. And by no offense to people that work a 9-to-5 job, I think we need people that do those jobs. But for me, knowing what I know, having the knowledge I have, and having the blessing of my parents, I feel like I would let them down if I just had an average life. And I feel like I was put on this earth to pursue something greater, and I want to fulfill that. And I think it's super important that I have that on the forefront of my mind every single day. So these were the 3 things that I was focusing on every day. The inputs required to get to those goals, working on my dropshipping business, figuring out how I can find better products, test ads better, scale those stores. And then these external things here made it so I was focused on those goals. I never pivoted no matter how hard things got. All right, so with that being said, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you like and subscribe. If you did enjoy it, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm more than happy to make more of these videos because I do love talking and yapping, but I'm only going to make these videos if you guys actually enjoy watching them. If you want to learn exactly how I went from negative $100,000 in debt to building a successful 6-figure a month dropshipping store, definitely check the video on the screen right here. Give it a watch, go through, learn some more of the strategies, and hopefully you can finally change your life as well. See you guys all in the next one. Take care.